I've been in this tech game for quite some time, and one of the things that has never ceased to amaze me. Really, it's how resistant people are to change. As a technologist, it's part of my DNA, part of my job, if you like, to continuously adapt, change, look for new ways of doing things. Yet, so many other people are very reluctant to change the way they do things. If I had a dollar for every time someone says, but we've always done it that way, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. It's that pervasive. There's also another one, which is the engineering adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix, which sort of implies that never change the way things are if it's working for you. Now, the thing with technology that we need to be aware of is that we need to watch out for the situation when we're switching from one system or one way of working to a new way of working and being trying to force um, old ways or old methodologies onto the new system. What typically will happen there is that the new system won't perform well, and then we'll blame the new system for being no good. What you've done is you've tried to take, let's take an example. You're got a vehicle or you're working on a car and all the bolts and all the fixtures are all in imperial. Now we're moving into a new location where all of the tools and everything that we're using are now metric, but we're wondering why they don't play nice together. They're different. They work in a different format. They're slightly different sizes and capabilities, right? So we need to be mindful that when we're moving to a new system, we're understanding the value and how the new place works. And this is pretty much the same way in terms of the effort we go to when we're migrating users from a traditional file server basis, or even some of the new cloud uh, structures like Dropbox and Google Drive and even OneDrive to some degree, where people are used to the paradigm of folders and files. And the thing with folders is that they're a fixed hierarchy, right? You've come up with a particular structure so you understand where things go. And each one of those levels of your folder is defining a piece of metadata for you. For example, the first level might be client, the next level might be client name or ID, the next one might be projects, then project ID, and then all the different categories within delivering that project from, quote or response to the tender, RFPs, etc., to design, to bill of materials, to invoices, quotes, and a bunch of other different things, right? So you've got all these different collections. Now that works in a traditional file server basis because that's the only way we had for categorizing and classifying these things. Now, with the advent of modern document management and records management platforms, we can change that. We can associate different pieces of metadata, so we can change the hierarchy to fit us, depending on what it is we're particularly looking for. So, from that fixed hierarchy, it's very difficult for us to get a view of all the projects with outstanding invoices, right? Because we have to drill down each layer, go find that, and then go back up and keep going, and then compile it in some sheet off to the side. Now, imagine, if you will, that if we had that metadata available and then treated it like a database or an Excel spreadsheet, for example, we could then manipulate that in any way and saying, show me all the files that are related to invoicing, show me the ones that don't have a matching payment record, and produce a report and tell us where the gaps are. That's the power of a database, and that's the power that you can get when you can leverage or lean into the concept of metadata and that sort of concept. Now, the problem comes back to change. Because we are so used to the file folder structure concept, for most people, this is hard to adapt to. It's a foreign concept to think that I have to go and store my file here and then specify all the other tags that are associated with that. It doesn't make that logical sense because we're used to going click down there, click down there, click down there, click down there. That's where I'll save it. So because those paradigms are so different, how do we go about changing them? The simple answer is slowly. The longer answer is that we need to understand specifically how people work and what we can do to influence that that's going to give them back something of value. You're not going to encourage anyone to change if they don't see it as being valuable for their personal workflow. You have to find the what's in it for me bit. When you find it, the what's in it for me, then the change process starts to become easier. You can't just use a stick and saying, we're management, we're the bosses of this, we're going to tell you how it's going to work. What will happen is that the individuals involved will go the least path resistance. If the easiest place for them to store files is on their desktop, they don't have to fight with everything else. Guess where those files are going to go? Their desktop. That's not where you want them. You need them to be where your business has access and can leverage those particular files. So remember, change management isn't easy, but look for the what's in it for me bit. Find a way that actually makes it more valuable for your team to comply with whatever you're trying to do, and easier for them to comply than it is to resist. When you find that, change isn't so hard after all.